14th September 2007, Karachi. The feeling of water, heavy with so much rusting metal, was a strange sensation as I cut across the Straits of Manora in a small sailboat. Not like water should feel, because there could have been piles of shipwrecks below me. I saw this water body as a graveyard of ships. The island has some old ruins, but many new ruins have emerged in a short span of time. What is left of the 3,000 or so residents are crumbling playgrounds and homes marked for demolition.
Each strip of land on Manora is inhabited by a different ethnic community. Each area is under the jurisdiction of a different governing body. This seems to absolve them all of the responsibility to care for their citizens.
24th December 2008, Karachi. The public boat costs 30 rupees and is packed like sardines before it leaves the pier at Kemari. I now realize why the seagulls are hovering above our boat. As we cross the water body, they swoop to catch the small pieces of unbaked dough thrown by passengers into the sky.
It is a frame of cinematic proportions.
23rd January 2009, Manora. The circular stone wall structure at the end of the beach does not seem to fit. Is it a cannon pit, a burial site, or part of the original structure of the Talpur fort? I came to the island with a Parsi friend who claims that early Zoroastrian burial sites were often built near the sea.
There is something here about the stillness of the land, the ruins, and the movement of the ocean. 2nd of April 2009, Karachi. I have been thinking about locational works, performance, a way to mark the body of this island.
19th August 2009, Manora. I found the Sikh Gurdwara at the end of a small lane. It is clean and has a bright yellow exterior wall. The keeper, Rajesh Chand, spoke of a peepal tree in the courtyard.
So many imagined views of Manora surface in conversations with the people here.
8th December 2009, Manora. Many of the visitors who come to Manora Beach arrive in boats across the straits, often making a long journey from the inner city towards the open sea.
For a mere 20 rupees, the Durbin Walas on Manora Beach offer customers a view through their homemade telescopes. They direct our gaze to sights that are not visible to the naked eye.
18th December 2009, Karachi. It is extremely difficult to position myself as an artist in this context and think about how to create work in which I can make a protest in the face of the establishment. 31st January 2010, Manora. I arrive on the jetty during Friday prayers. As I walk through the compound, I hear loud microphones, 2 sermons from 2 mosques. I stand in the confluence of these sound waves.
I stand in the confluence of these sound waves, looking at a laundry line, strung across the middle of this rubble-strewn opening. The dripping laundry is oddly composed of garments in all shades of red.
20th April 2010, Manora. Looking at the photograph of the burqa-clad Baloch women walking along the sea, it occurred to me that an image could aspire to mythical proportions.
This photograph seems to hold a space that does not quite exist. The duality of the elements that make up this image relocate this space, where time is compressed and stretched simultaneously. The land and sea become both a single mass and interchangeable. In this way, they carry equal proportions of meaning. This is not a landscape. It is about the moving image, an extension of temporality.
Our spaces in Manora gendered. 20th February 2011, Manora. Notes for a film. The Weather Observatory, a decapitated building, working with structures I cannot see. Allow the frame to create the boundary, the relationship between the image and the evidence of historical weather reports.
Storms and Cyclones in the Indian Ocean, 1939.
This document from the India Weather Review of 1939, with its detailed classification, takes on a different tone when mapped onto the present-day ruin of the observatory building. It suggests the dichotomy between imperial mapping and everyday lived reality.
The disrupted landscape within the building is a metaphor for disruption on a much larger scale. Reconstructing internal volume through the ruins and debris is a single visual narrative strand in this work. It permits the viewer a sense of being submerged.
24th July 2011, London. Picking up a snow globe of Big Ben, I was thinking, what kind of snow globe could be created for Manora, a souvenir of the island and what it stands for?
The link between the snow globe and the island is the element of water. The liquid in the globe is the horizon contained, endlessly fluid, but fluidity contained, packaged, and commodified, and with it, time and memory. The snow globe has within it the potential for both fixity and fluidity, an imagined world, a promised utopia.
2nd July 2012, Tehran. Tehran is a new and complex sensation. The familiarity with a place is not just the map we use to get around, but the map of a city as it unfolds in our mind.
24th August 2012, Karachi. The steamboat marooned in the Indus Delta, the whale beached on Karachi's shore, each unhinged from its source of origin, to find a new abode, to find its slow death or its new beginning.
2nd April 2013, Manora. Sitting at Miss Nawab's cafe on the edge of the ocean, Maha and I discussed the possibility of the Manora book. Formulating working methods, the archive becomes open, discursive.
The island, a generative space, imagining a social geography, the entanglement of the land and the sea.
17th April 2013, Manora. Each time I come to the island now, I'm checked by naval intelligence. The Commodore has betrayed us with his sense of romance about the island and its potential. They do not want to acknowledge the multi-religious history of this space.
The temple, the shrine, the church, the lighthouse, these have become censored sites. The landscape is visually marked by the violence that has yet to claim them. 23rd August 2013, Manora. A monsoon afternoon and the sea is full.
It is a circular space that is glimpsed through the telescope, a sense of intimacy I did not expect, a warship from the naval fleet, bodies in the ocean in abandonment and freedom.
This sense of intimacy and freedom in the public space is shrinking, as is the sea itself.
Reaching through the lens of the telescope, I'm pulling the ocean inwards, pulling these images into view, as both near and far sights converge within this space.
Near and far sights converge within this space.
5th September 2013, Amsterdam. At the Rijksmuseum, I saw objects from the 1613 shipwreck Wittelieu. 6th April 2014, Karachi. How did Hokusai look at the ocean as opposed to Caspar David Friedrich? The way the sea was constructed. How did artists imagine its form? How was it treated in paint?
The sea under construction.
12th December 2014, Amsterdam. I'm looking at the clusters of cracked porcelain and pepper found in the wreck of the Dutch East India Company trading vessel. The language of these forms create another vocabulary of sorts.
A kind of compression occurs. I see the shipwreck as a process, a sort of agent of time and transformation. Continuous time. Objects conjoin and make another kind of object. Memory-bound objects. 12th April 2015, London. Each day I hear about more boats crossing the Mediterranean Sea. Land hunger. How many bodies can be absorbed in the space of the ocean? 3rd of December 2015, Amsterdam. Cities on the sea.
The paintings in the Maritime Museum give me a sense of the vessels that charted the seas, as well as the enormity of the ocean that carried them. These images convey the materiality of the ocean. The menacing creatures embody the force of nature.
1st August 2016, Manora. There are bits of land within this landscape that are barely part of the whole. Relations between state and stakeholders shift and change. Settlements, land rights are still tenuous. The periphery of the urban space, where nature, the ocean, still has a hold.
6th August 2016, Manora. Over the years, I've collected small handmade boats decorated with shells, which are sold in souvenir shops by the sea.
These objects create a complex alignment between production and consumption. They reflect the tastes and shifting aspirations of the consumer. Their changing aesthetics and iconography absorb diverse influences from the everyday to religious imagery and Bollywood culture.
8th August 2016, Karachi. I decided to give the craftsman line drawings of different vessels from my archive of photographs and images of historic boats that have crossed the Indian Ocean.
The artisans have reinterpreted the form and aesthetic of the drawings, using the vernacular of the souvenir. They have brought these vessels into a scale of intimacy. 20th August 2016, Karachi. There is a loss of identification and a rescripting of narratives. The new vessel object these craftsmen have fabricated is invested with multiple layers of production. It offers divergent routes to our relationship to history. 26th August 2016, Manora. The horizon seems to be turning. Would this be a still landscape if I did not walk through it?
Would this be a still landscape if I did not walk through it? 17th October 2016, New York. After watching the work Liquid Traces, The Left to Die Boat Case by Fezani and Heller, I cannot think about the ocean as I did before. A sea of impunity, the ocean bed a mass grave.
Europe's amnesia, the VOC ships, a cargo liner, a refugee boat, a life raft. Each vessel represents a particular power structure of imperialism and its afterlife. 6th November 2016, London. Objects from the deep. There seem to be different excavated histories in these drawings. They reflect on the sedimented nature of objects. The intimate pull between object, material, and nature fuses and erases differences of place and identity, and the ocean becomes a site of confluence and transformation.
14th December 2015, Amsterdam. I seem to be coming back again and again to the broken cracked porcelain and the company paintings at the Rijksmuseum. There is a strange dichotomy between these untroubled images of the company paintings and the violence in the broken objects, their patterns of life and foliage disrupted by the shipwreck, unhinged.
Objects from the depth of the ocean, the object beached in sand, in mud, in time, in history, anchored in its own awkward politics of loss and conflict. 17th January 2017, London. An image comes back again and again, It is in slow conversation with us. In our imagination, we have not unlocked its meaning, not to the past, but what it is now. It wants to be anchored, to be witnessed.